Hi folks, Dr. Miller here, welcoming you to our week 6 of financial management at the University of New Hampshire. This week we get into our major project is introduced and we begin working on it. We also have our 5th forum topic essay to delve into. We begin looking at some very interesting topics this week: risk, cost of capital, and valuation. We learned how to determine a firm's cost of equity capital and the models to do so. A firm's cost of equity capital is the cost to raise shares, often simulated by the firm's dividend, the cost of dividends. We also seek to understand the impact of beta, or the measure of systematic risk, in determining the firm's cost of capital. We touch on some of the estimations of beta, the strength and weaknesses of beta. There are different dividend model approaches to estimate a firm's cost of capital. We also look at the weighted average cost of capital as a model. One of my favorite topics that I look forward to discussing with you this week is market efficiency. And it's important to understand the concept of market efficiency, which has been debated for well more than 50 years. We want to be able to define what market efficiency looks like and the empirical tests of market efficiency. I did want to point out that markets are efficient over the long term, or so is my belief as an investor and certified financial planner. When I say markets are efficient over the long term, I mean over the long term measured in decades, where share prices actually regress to their long-term average mean price. Share prices are not efficient overnight. There are also different types of efficiency and challenges to market efficiency. We call it the behavioral challenges to market efficiency and empirical changes to market efficiency as well. All right, let's see. Okay, one of my favorite topics is stocks. As we look at stocks or long-term financing, I did want to point out a side-by-side comparison of what debt versus equity might look like. With debt, there's not an ownership interest. Creditors do not have voting rights in the corporation, whereas with shares of stock, owners have an ownership interest and common stockholders do vote for the board of directors and other issues. With debt, the interest or interest expense related to debt is the cost of doing business and is tax deductible, whereas with dividends on equity shares, dividends are not considered a cost of doing business and are therefore not tax deductible. With debt, creditors have legal recourse if interest or principal payments are missed, whereas with dividends, since dividends are not a liability of the firm, and stockholders have no legal recourse if dividends are not paid. Finally, with debt, excess debt, as you know, can lead to financial distress and bankruptcy. However, with equity, an all equity firm cannot go bankrupt because there is all equity with no debt. Finally, the bond indenture. The bond indenture is the contract between the company and the bondholders, which includes the basic terms of the bond, the call provisions, the covenants, a very detailed document. Have a great week during week 6. Look forward to working with you and debating with you in the discussion forum. Thanks, folks.